Professor Sonaiya, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm on the line.
Okay, yes, you are live now. Could you go ahead and let's get your impression of some of the results as announced today by INEC?
Well, I believe on the whole there is no big surprise as yet, given the situation before the elections. It was clear that we had two front runners, and things are playing out as predicted for the two of them. And for the other parties, I am happy that at least KOWA Party is getting a mention. Our name is being mentioned along with other parties. We have recorded votes, and I believe that that's an important step forward for us.
Are you satisfied with your name just being mentioned, or perhaps you maybe would have been happier if, who knows, maybe if you, if not third in some of these cases?
Of course, I would have been happier had we made a showing. But look, nobody was under any illusion. Given the amount of money that was spent by the front runners, they basically just blocked everybody else out of the view anyway. And these are some of the issues that we will have to look into very carefully as we analyze these elections.
Is it the same thing for...
The fact that you have so much money available, does that mean that you should just take over the airwaves completely? You know, there are regulations that are in place in other places, in other countries.
Why has your
that
figures?
Check.
Why has your figures?
This kind of situation.
Let me just ask you quickly. Why has your figures performed so dismally in these elections?
Because Nigerians are not yet, how would I say it? We go with the big parties in general, even though we realize that they might not be the best for us. A lot of people told me, oh, but your party is so small. But then when you ask them, what have the big parties done for you? Look at the mess that we're in. But that's what we know. So, of course, somebody like me coming out, I think that was an important first step to take. And we will definitely keep working at this.
Do you support
that Nigerians have credible alternatives?
Do you support independent candidacy?
Pardon me?
Do you support independent candidacy in the run-up to the elections?
I do. Because there is, to some degree also, a kind of uncertainty about political parties anyway. I believe that maybe if Nigerians found an individual that they really know well, that has a lot of integrity and so on, that they might be willing to vote for such a person.
Was this the same thing that played out when you talked about throwing money around or having access to much more finance than your party? Was it the same thing for the National Assembly elections?
I am not certain if the National Assembly elections would play out in the same way that the presidential elections.
The ones that...
I'm just limiting my comments for now to the results of the presidential elections that we are seeing, and also the way in which we saw the campaigns for the presidential elections being conducted.
Would you be willing to team up with whichever party comes top at the end of the day?
That would be that's a difficult question for me because it would depend so much on a lot of things. There is a whole culture that we have seen on ground, a whole political culture that I find very difficult, a culture of impunity, a culture of wastefulness, a culture of living in ignorance, while the rest of the people are suffering. I would not be comfortable with that kind of stuff.
Is it?
So there is fundamental change.
Isn't that
for me to be a part of that kind of a system?
Isn't that a tacit endorsement of the winner takes all scenario?
In a sense, one might say so, but actually, it would be wonderful if the winner comes out to deliberately say, look, this is the way we have run things this far, and we are willing to change. That would be a very important step forward. And that is something that I have been saying in some of the interviews that I have conducted over the campaign period, that we have leaders who find it difficult to accept that they were wrong, that they had done things in the past, that the way they have run the affairs of the nation is not in the best way. And if they would come out and say, look, I was wrong, this is not the way things ought to be, we are willing to make a change and go in a different direction, that would make maybe people like me feel a little bit more comfortable if we were invited to work with them. But if there is no such thing, if the whole atmosphere of impunity, of corruption continues, it's going to be difficult.
You talked about the issue of funds that were available, for example, for some of the top major parties in the race. Presumably, if you had enough funds available to you, do you think your chances maybe would have been brighter than what we are having at the moment?
I would have been able to go to more places. And I believe that contact with the people, that direct contact with the people, could have helped a little bit more. That's my thinking. However, if I had the kind of money that, in any case, we must even question where all that money came from in the first place. Because if that money, as a lot of people are suspecting, if part of the money at least came from the coffers of the state, then that was completely, that would be unacceptable, because the state's resources are not supposed to be used to fund party activities, partisan, activities. So I'm even saying there ought to be a limit, and there is indeed by law a limit to the amount of money that could be spent for the presidential election, for the elections at every level. But people just blatantly went against that. I would not have done that. I would have kept within the limits of the law. What then? If I had a little bit more money, that would have allowed me to travel to a few more places and be able to interact more directly with the people.
What then would you recommend to the Independent National Electoral Commission? As we understand already, there are some proposals waiting at the National Assembly to go through the lawmakers to try to see that the Electoral Act is amended. What would you recommend in this regard?
I believe that there should be more of a proactive approach to these issues, because this matter of the funding of campaigns at a meeting held in Sheraton Hotel with activists and stakeholders and party officials. And what INEC was saying was that at the end of the whole campaign period, they would provide a report. But the thing is, that would be after the fact. So is it not possible for INEC to monitor what is happening while the campaign is going on, during the campaign period? You know, when the president raked in 27-point-something billion naira in one evening for his campaign, what did INEC say? Did INEC immediately respond and remind him that he could not spend more than 1 billion naira on his campaign? And when all the advertorials in the newspapers, on TV and so on were going on, what did INEC say? I don't believe that our system should be to wait until after the fact to now come up with a report and then nothing gets done. I believe that we should take a more active, INEC should take a more active role in monitoring while it is going on.
All right, even though the party did say it wasn't, that front money was not just for elections. But at the end of the day, when the results are all out and the winner is declared, what will be next for you?
What will be next for me?
Yes.
For one thing, we have a party to build. I really am quite committed to that Nigerians deserve to see a truly democratic political party, well run, in tune with global standards, where we do not have all these constant squabblings, where we do not have godfathers determining everything. I would really love to devote some time to contributing to making KOWA Party that kind of a party.
All right, Professor Remi Sonaiya, presidential candidate of KOWA Party, thank you for speaking with us today.
Thank you very much.